Jane is excited that her company has bagged a multi-million-dollar contract for Azure App Services. The project has some stringent requirements, but she is confident that her development team can deliver. Ajay is an experienced developer who would be leading this project. There are four major requirements. The web app in dev and stage should connect to SQL Server, but for prod, they would like to use Redis. A background job which generates a daily sales report for management, rate limiting based on app service tiers, timeouts and retries for all underlying backend services. Ajay is a little apprehensive. These are valid requirements, but all this entails a lot of coding and testing. Does App Service provide anything out of the box to make the implementation easier? Introducing Dapper support for app services. This will solve all integration problems of Ajay, leaving him free to concentrate on the business logic. Let's see how Dapper is integrated with app services. This is the internal architecture of a Linux app service VM. Dapper will load as a sidecar container to the main site. It can read the components from the YAML file in Azure Storage associated with each site. The user has a simple interface to integrate Dapper. They can either upload a YAML file directly or follow our integration wizard and choose from a pre-populated list. Now let's look at some of the capabilities that Dapper brings to app service applications. With Dapper, you can choose from a plethora of components like state store, message buses, etc. All these components are declared using a YAML file, and your app service code can use these components with a generic API. This means that you can plug and play components without having to alter any app code. For example, you can use the Redis state store while testing and the SQL Server state store in production. It's as simple as pointing to the right YAML file in the right environment, and your application code remains the same. Another capability that we can bring is the cron binding. It allows you to run a piece of application code periodically. Here is the YAML. We have configured the cron schedule as daily. The app just listens on an endpoint and it gets triggered once in a day by Dapper. Rate limiting is also pretty easy. The rate limit HTTP middleware can be configured to restrict the maximum number of allowed HTTP requests per second. This protects your application from DOS attacks by malicious third parties. Once the limit is reached, the request will return a HTTP status 429 too many requests. In addition, App Service Applications gets out-of-the-box capability for defining and applying fault-tolerant resiliency policies like timeouts, retries, backoffs, and circuit breakers. These policies can be applied to different targets like apps for service invocation, components like state stores, and actors. We hope to complete this integration soon and give our app service customers an enriched and productive experience with the managed Dapper.
Created using Powtoon.